Messengers TV.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Out of the Fog. I'm your host, Laurabel Mba. Tonight's episode is definitely going to be an interesting one. We will be joined by Hilary Hennessey from the Newfoundland and Labrador Human Rights Commission, and we'll also be joined by Janet Lee from the Journey Project. We will be right back after a few short messages. And welcome back, everyone. I'm now joined by Hilary Hennessey, who is the Public Relations Specialist for the Human Rights Commission of Newfoundland and Labrador. Hilary, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me today.
So I'm really excited to have you here to talk a little bit about what the Human Rights Commission is and how it all started. So can we start there before we get into anything deep?
Yeah, for sure. So the Human Rights Commission is an independent government agency responsible for promoting and protecting human rights in the province. So we do that by administering the Human Rights Act, and in summary, that involves investigating and resolving human rights complaints, as well as preventing discrimination and harassment through public engagement, education, and community engagements.
Okay, so how long have we had a Human Rights Commission within Newfoundland and Labrador?
So I was trying to do my website searches on this morning.
No worries.
And Carrie did a great job kind of communicating that to me. So from my understanding, the Human Rights Commission was established in the 60s. We were established as a result of the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights that was created in December 10th of 1948. Okay. So the Human Rights Commission came a little while after, but basically the government believed that we needed to have these bodies to promote and protect human rights provincially. So that is where we came from.
So that's so cool. So are we connected to all, like I know each province kind of has its own Human Rights Commission. Are we all connected under a grand Canadian Human Rights Commission, or is it
we
just?
Are.
Oh.
Yeah, there is a Canadian Human Rights Commission, and they deal a lot with things federally. So federal human rights complaints. Not all businesses and organizations here are provincially owned. So some things do go back to the Federal Human Rights Commission, such as ferries, for example, that go to province per province.
Okay.
And yeah, that's kind of the one I can draw on top of my head because that's an example I use the most. But yeah, so like things like that we wouldn't deal with. We would refer them to the Canadian Human Rights Commission.
Okay, so that's so cool. So when, let's say I'm like Google the Human Rights Commission of Newfoundland and Labrador, what can I expect in terms of what I can find in services that you guys provide to Newfoundlanders and Labradorians?
Yeah, so I think most notably, I should say that we are a conflict resolution organization that works to resolve conflicts. We do that by investigating and resolving human rights complaints, but we also have an alternative way to resolve conflicts at the Commission, and that's Community Justice Connect.
Okay.
And Community Justice Connect is a conflict resolution service that works to repair harm through a restorative justice lens. So we really work to meet the needs of people who have done harm and who have been harmed in like the justice process, and really meeting their needs to build relationships and get people I guess back to where they should be.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a question because I don't know if a lot of people know. What is restorative justice?
Yeah, so restorative justice is, again, like a way to resolve conflict with meeting the needs of those involved. So we really work to incorporate their wants and needs that they communicate to us. As we know, like the justice system is not just for everyone, so we really try to give everyone an equal opportunity to resolve the conflicts that they're going through Community Justice Connect.
Okay, that's so cool. So what other programs does the Human Rights Commission get involved in?
So as a result of my position, we are able to offer a lot more education opportunities, which is a part of our mandate. It's the promotion aspect of everything that we do. So I'm kind of responsible for all of that, and it's the reason why I'm here today. And I do a lot of other media and community engagements, and I really work to build partnerships. So I guess from me promoting our ability to engage publicly and really give presentations to inform people about their human rights, we have had an increase in demand for the education sessions that people want. So it's been difficult to meet that, as you know, I'm only one person and the rest of the commission is responsible for really the protection aspect of our mandate. So I've been trying to do what I can in regards to like educating and promoting the human rights. And I think something we're most excited about is our new partnership with the Sexual Harassment Office at MUN. I'm currently sitting as the community representative on the board there, and we really, through that opportunity, we really get to inform students about their human rights and engage in training sessions. So most recently we did a bystander intervention and prevention training in partnership with the Sexual Harassment Office, their sexual advisor there.
So can you let me know a little bit, like, let's say I was attending the bystander intervention training, what would I have gotten from that?
So you basically would have gotten a rundown of how to protect others when you see that they're going through harm, or you see they're being sexually harassed. Like, how would you intervene in those situations and prevent that harm from happening? And there's lots of ways you could do that, but we also want to promote, you know, safety to students. That's the big thing here. So yeah, we just really did a presentation of how they can best intervene in a situation if they feel it's safe to do so.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask a question, maybe putting more on your workload than already is. If someone was interested in booking a session with the Human Rights Commission, how can they reach you to do so?
So you can reach us by email, and our email is humanrights@gov.nl.ca, and that request will be forwarded on to me, and we'll create a ticket, and from there we can get all what you want done. I'm kind of the person that if you have a presentation in mind or you have a topic that you would like to discuss, I will work to build a presentation around that to really tailor to the needs of individuals that we're talking to.
Okay, so that's so cool.
Yeah.
So like we can come with you with, say, hey, I'm looking to get some idea as to, let's say I'm talking about human rights for recent immigrants or refugees, what their rights are within Newfoundland Labrador. I can reach out to you and kind of say, can you tailor a presentation to fit these needs?
Yes.
Oh, that is so cool. That's fantastic to hear for organizations.
Yeah.
So I know you guys have something really cool and exciting coming up.
We do. I'm sure you know lots about it.
I know a little, just at the bare minimum that you've been willing to share with me. So do you mind letting our viewers know what's been going on at the Commission recently?
So most recently, we are doing our 8th annual Human Rights Awards ceremony. I'm speaking with one of our lovely nominees this year. But other than that, we have yourself and 12 other nominees who are up to win the Human Rights Award. And each year we partner with RBC, and we also partner with Grenfell Campus to get an art student involved, and that's where the award comes from. This year we have a print from Jessie Donaldson, and we're really looking forward to giving that to the winners. And unfortunately they won't be announced until the ceremony. But if you email the email that I just communicated earlier, we will provide you with a link, and you can attend virtually and really see for yourself the wonderful work that goes on here and the wonderful work that yourself and other nominees have also been doing.
So I'm going to poke a little bit more. I know you can't tell me who won, and that's okay. But I would like to know, you guys said you have announced the art nominee. So how's the art Human Rights Award winner chosen for the art?
So we work with the administrative team at Grenfell and their visual arts program. So they share the message with students, and from that we get a bunch of students submit artwork that they have done, and maybe they just have sitting around, or they value and really want it to go to something meaningful. So we work with them, and this year we had 3 submissions. So out of those 3, it was a tough decision, but we think the art that we picked best suits the winners of the award.
Okay, that's so cool. So I'm going to ask a little bit more about how the nomination process works. So I know this is the 8th one, and which means there will be a 9th one next year. So if people are sitting around thinking, hey, I know someone that might have made a contribution I feel worthy enough to be nominated for a Human Rights Award. What is the process and how does that work?
So we have a nomination form available on our website, thinkhumanrights.ca, which can be accessed on our website, the form. And if you need alternative formats, we can also accommodate you in that need. Like if you would rather nominate somebody through an interview or coming in to talking to me, we can really work to get your nomination processed. But basically, if you're thinking like, hey, I know someone who is doing so much in the community to advance human rights, we highly recommend that you nominate them for this award because it's great to acknowledge the hard work that individuals are doing, because sometimes it does go unnoticed, unfortunately, and this is our attempt to kind of highlight everything that people are doing. And we've had so much work this year, highlighted from people in the community. And we don't nominate people ourselves. Like, people in the community will go ahead and nominate somebody who they feel is suitable for such an award. And yeah, we just work from there. We promote them, and then we announce the winners on December 8th.
That's so cool. So when would the nominations open for next year's award?
Nominations will open, I believe it is August 31st.
Okay.
It's around the end of August, and nominations close then October 31st, and that's a set deadline every year.
Okay, that's so cool. So like if people watching now wanted to attend virtually again, what date would it be and what time so they can have an idea when they email you guys?
Yeah, so the ceremony this year is happening at the Government House. We've been doing it there the last few years. And if people would like to get involved, they can email a link, and the event will actually take place on December 8th. So Thursday, December 8th, 2022, and it's starting at 3 o'clock. So we ask attendees to get there around 2:45, and we also ask attendees who are attending virtually to also sign on a little early just to avoid any technical issues. But we have a camera person this year, so it should be a very nice visual and picture for people to really have online.
That's so cool. So before I let you go, if there was one thing you wanted our viewers to know about the Human Rights Commission and the work you do and how they can support, what would you want them to know?
I definitely would say keep an eye on our social medias. Our social medias where we do a lot of promotion of activities, events, opportunities for individuals to get involved with the Human Rights Commission. So I would definitely say check that out. We also have a newsletter that goes out monthly, and it also entails like cases of interest and human rights concerns and societal issues that reflect or are relevant to human rights. We talk about a lot of that in there, and just again, like, we promote other community organizations and the things they're doing in that newsletter too. So I would highly suggest signing up for that. There is a sign up link on our Instagram and on our website too. We are working to develop a website. I'm working to get that launched very soon. So we'll have a new accessible website available to people hopefully in the new year. So keep an eye out for the link on that website. But for now, you can find it on our social media pages.
Thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope to see you again soon.
And we'll be right back, everybody. Welcome back, everyone. I'm now joined by Janet Lee, Legal Support Navigator for the Journey Project. Janet, thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me in.
So I've been so excited to have you guys on the couch and be able to talk to you about what the Journey Project is. So I guess we'll start there. What is the Journey Project and how did you guys come to exist?
So the Journey Project is a really interesting collaboration between two distinct nonprofit organizations. So Public Legal Information Association of Newfoundland and Labrador and the Newfoundland and Labrador Sexual Assault Crisis and Prevention Center. We were formed or launched in 2017 as a direct result of conversations that have been had around different tables in community and in the community for decades that were really identifying that there were huge gaps in services and supports, specifically for survivors of sexual violence who were navigating the legal system. And so you had Public Legal Information, or PLEAN, on one side, working to educate Newfoundlanders and Labradorians about the law and increase access to justice. And you had the Sexual Assault Center providing non-judgmental support to adults who have been impacted by sexual violence. And so taking kind of the missions and mandates and values of both organizations, we launched the Journey Project, which when it started in 2017 was intended to provide and promote trauma-informed training for legal stakeholders.
Okay.
And then in the last 5 years, it has really expanded and grown to continue to do that, but also focus on direct client service delivery or survivor connections through the provision of legal support navigation and free legal advice.
Okay, so when you talk about direct client services, so the legal support navigation, and so what exactly does that mean for someone who might be a survivor of sexual assault or sexual violence?
Absolutely. So I want to preface this with the Journey Project is a completely voluntary, no pressure service. So what that might mean or look like is that someone has had an experience or maybe multiple experiences of sexualized violence, and they're thinking about navigating the legal system. So this might mean something happened to me and I don't know if I want to report to the police or not. It might mean there's harassment happening at work and I want to know what my rights are as an employee under my union or human rights or employment law. It might mean I don't really know what options I could even think about exploring, and I want to talk to someone about that in a confidential space. So we have a team of legal support navigators who connect with folks when they reach out to us and really work with them to kind of figure out what it is that they're kind of hoping to do or hoping to accomplish, what justice might mean or look like for them, and then support them in their journey down that route. So for some folks, that might mean going through the criminal justice system. For other folks, it might be about making an informed decision not to do that. And we're here to support people 100% with whatever choice that they make. Because we, like so many survivor advocacy groups, really believe that the person is the expert in their own life and in their own experiences. So we really hope to provide that kind of accurate legal information, that emotional support, and connections to additional community resources, while also being able to provide free legal advice through an incredible roster of lawyers who sign up to be part of our program. So in-house at the Journey Project, we don't provide legal advice, but we are connected to about 24 lawyers in the province who do offer that service for us.
Okay, that's amazing to kind of find out that those services exist for people within our province. So you and the Journey Project and I got connected originally earlier in the year when we were seeing in the U.S. there was a lot of discussion and then eventually the overturning of Roe versus Wade. So as an organization, what was that like for you guys when we saw that happening down south and we were trying to figure out how we were navigating as a province?
I think that anytime we see something in the media or the news that instills fear or worry or panic or shock or anger in our community, that it absolutely impacts all of us, both as people and as professionals. I think that anytime there's something that shows up in legislation, whether it's provincial, national, or international, that might impact survivors, then of course we at the Journey Project want to be and need to be prepared to offer insights, legal information, and again, that legal advice through the lawyers if it is something that is directly impacting people in or connected to our province. So with the services that we offer, we try to be as low barrier as possible. Currently, our eligibility requirements are such that individuals have to be at least 16 years of age right now, either living in Newfoundland and Labrador, or if the sexual violence occurred in this province, but they're now living elsewhere, whether that's another province or even another country, they can still access our supports.
Oh, wow.
And then thinking about legal options, but again, no pressure.
And that's amazing to find out that once you've basically been a resident, if you had an incident happen in this province, as unfortunate as that might be, that they are still able to avail of your services.
100%.
So we talked a little bit about what programs and services look like with you guys. So if I was, let's say, called you guys up and was wondering as a community support what I could do, what would be something like, how would you guys navigate me through that process?
Sure. So if someone was looking to kind of explore their options, it would really depend on what their hope or kind of their goals is. So sometimes folks call us up and they might say, you know, after seeing us on Out of the Fog, for example, that I heard that y'all can do free legal advice. And so that's what I'm looking for, and that's all I'm kind of looking for. However, other folks might want more in-depth support or connections. And so our team of legal support navigators might do accompaniments, whether that's to the police station, to community organizations, to court, whether that be criminal or civil, or perhaps a complaints commission of sorts. It might look like helping folks get connected to some counseling services, whether those are the ones that exist within the community-based organizations or perhaps private counseling, helping folks there. We ourselves do not do counseling, and I know that that's a really huge need that's identified across the board for so many folks. So I do want to be clear about that we can't provide counseling, but sometimes we can get folks connected to places that do. And then other times it might be just about kind of connecting with folks, hearing their story, and then helping them kind of make decisions about where they want to go next, because it really is about what they want to do next.
It's really amazing to hear that you guys are focused on making sure the individual reaching out to you feels supported through regardless what they're going to decide. So I know you guys have grown a lot in the last few years, and it seems that there's more growing coming up. So what is that like for you guys as an organization?
It is an incredible roller coaster, I think, to be on. So when Journey launched in 2017, we were one full-time staff. So Sarah, who's still with our program, was our original staff person. Since then, we've now grown to have 7 full-time staff working directly for the Journey Project. And one of the most exciting things that's happened for us just this fall, actually, was hiring a staff person based in Happy Valley Goose Bay and a staff person based in Corner Brook. And so this was a direct response to feedback that we had been hearing both from service providers and communities and survivors themselves about wanting to make connections with the Journey Project kind of on the ground in their regions. So this has been really exciting for us. We've always been provincially mandated, but our staff was based in St. John's. And so we're really excited to continue to travel throughout Newfoundland and Labrador, but then also kind of have those regional representatives, Chelsea in Corner Brook and Martina in Goose Bay, to really make connections with community, with survivors, and show up in a way that makes sense for those regions.
That's fantastic to hear. So I have a question a little bit that might be a little bit different. So if organizations wanted your support to kind of advocate and educate their staff, is that something that your organization does currently?
So we offer trauma-informed training that is primarily focused on legal stakeholders or legal professionals. But that can absolutely, depending on the needs of the organization or the group that's reaching out, be made to accommodate the kind of specific needs of the folks reaching out to us. We also specifically under the Journey umbrella run a sexual harassment in the workplace project. So there's an online training available that's free of charge on our website, and Sarah, our original Journey Project staff, coordinates the sexual harassment in the workplace component. So there's training available for both employees and employers specifically on that topic as well.
That's fantastic to hear, because as we know, the environment is ever changing, so it's great to know that people are able to access education and training through your organization.
100%.
So if for people reaching out, how are the best ways to get in contact with your organization?
So we have tried to be as low barrier and as accessible to folks as possible. So there's a ton of information on our website, which is journeyproject.ca. So folks can not only find information about the Journey Project, you can read bios on all the staff. We have survivor guides on reporting to the police, sexual assault prosecution, civil litigation, meeting with a lawyer. That's all on there. We're on social media, so you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can call us, so toll free at 1-833-722-2805, or you can text us at 709-986-2811. And then beyond that, if folks are looking to connect and there's a way that we haven't highlighted, then we're absolutely open to offering new options. We also are out and about in communities often, so following us on social media, staying connected with us in that way means that you'll see, for example, that we're going to be down on the Burin Peninsula the first week of December, or we're going to be on the West Coast and down into the Port aux Basques region in the first week of December as well, and then on the move a lot in the new year.
Well, it's fantastic to hear that you guys are so accessible to the people of the province. I know there was one important number that you wanted to share before you left. What was that number? What does it do?
Thank you so much. So as I mentioned, we're the collaboration of two nonprofit organizations, but we are a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 type service. We are weekday daytime. And so I did want to highlight that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, the incredible volunteers of the Sexual Assault Crisis and Prevention Center are available to offer support to anyone who's been impacted by sexual violence. So 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can access that service at 1-800-726-2743.
I absolutely enjoyed talking to you. And before I let you go, if there was one thing you would want our viewers to know, either about your organization or the two organizations that form the Journey Project, what would that be?
I think that for all the survivors out there, it can so often feel like you are so alone in the experience and alone in the process. And so just knowing that there are absolutely people here to support you, and that at the Journey Project we've got an incredible team of folks who are just waiting to connect and offer us the support that kind of makes sense for you in the moment. So if folks are unsure about whether or not they should reach out, they are absolutely welcome to call us up, email us, ask us questions, check out our website, and if there's anything that we can do to support, we'll absolutely try to do that.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back, everybody. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in again today, and a very special thank you to my guests, Hilary Hennessey from the Human Rights Commission of Newfoundland and Labrador, and Janet Lee from the Journey Project. If you're interested in checking out the Human Rights Awards ceremony, you can check out their website at thinkhumanrights.ca. And if you're looking for support from the Journey Project, you can check out their website at journeyproject.ca. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys again next time.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
If you have a comment about this program, we'd love to hear it. Email or call us, or send us your feedback through social media.
When an impaired driver killed my brother DJ, some people used the A word. They called it an accident, but it wasn't. An accident implies that no one was at fault. But when someone impaired by alcohol and/or drugs chooses to drive, they're fully responsible for the crash that can result. So please,